Welcome to Kyoto, Japan's timeless heart. A city where ancient temples sit quietly between modern streets, where every turn reveals another shrine, garden, or hidden alley that feels untouched by time. For the next 3 days, we're leaving the rush behind and stepping into a world of bamboo forests, vermilion torii gates, local foods, and traditions that have lived here for centuries. Come with us as we explore the magic of Kyoto. Leaving Hakone was bittersweet, but it was time to move on to Kyoto. The tap of my Suica card at the train station and that familiar beep signaled the start of another journey. And just like that, we're officially on our way to Kyoto. But before boarding the Shinkansen, there was one very important mission left: Ekiben hunting.
No, there's more stuff.
With our Ekiben secured, we made our way to the platform, ready to hop on the Shinkansen. And let the next chapter begin.
Please stay behind the yellow line. Please stay behind the yellow line.
The Shinkansen, Japan's famous bullet train, smooth, fast, and somehow more punctual than my alarm clock. 1 second, we were pulling away from the station. The next, we're already flying through the countryside at speeds that feel illegal in most countries. We settled into our seats, opened up our carefully chosen Ekiben like it was a first-class dining experience. An Ekiben is not just any bento box. This one came with instructions. I pulled the string on the side and immediately felt like I had activated a very delicious science experiment. Steam started building. The box warmed up and suddenly I was on a 5-minute countdown, staring at my food like it was the longest 5 minutes of my life. Once it was ready, worth it, hot, and absolutely hitting the spot as the train sped through Japan. The ride was fun. It was fast, comfortable, and somehow relaxing. The Shinkansen made the journey feel like part of the destination.
Have arrived in Kyoto.
Miyako. Hachu.
After dropping our bags at the hotel, we didn't waste a single minute. We headed straight back out, ready to explore. As we wandered through the historic streets, we came across something truly special, a traditional matcha mochi being made right in front of us. They use techniques that have clearly been passed down for generations. It was like watching a piece of living tradition. We continued uphill toward one of Kyoto's most famous landmarks, Kiyomizu-dera. This wasn't about seeing everything just yet. It was more about getting a first glimpse, letting the place sink in, and saving the deeper exploration for tomorrow. Even in that short visit, you could feel how special it is. And it made us even more excited to come back tomorrow. We wandered down into Ninenzaka and Sanenzaka, two of Kyoto's most iconic historic streets. Walking through these streets felt like stepping back in time. Narrow lanes, wooden facades, and that unmistakable sense of history everywhere you look.
And then the cheese, the fried cheese.
언니랑 나눠 먹어.
Jason State.
After hours of walking through Kyoto's historic streets, we were more than ready to sit down and eat. We finally settled into dinner, sinking into our seats with cold beers and cocktails. The food hit exactly the way we needed to. A juicy wagyu burger on one side of the table and fish and chips on the other.
That's a different looking fish and chips.
It's fish and chips, Kyoto style, with miso.
Good food, good drinks, tired legs, and that quiet feeling you get after a full day of discovery. There's no better way to end our first night in Kyoto. Day 2 in Kyoto greeted us with a steady pour of rain, and almost fitting for a place like this. We made our way to Nijo Castle, one of Kyoto's most historically important landmarks. Inside the palace, photography isn't allowed, so we could only capture a video of the surrounding grounds. But even from the outside, you can feel the history here. Behind those walls are famous nightingale floors that chirp when walked on, designed to alert guards of intruders, and lavishly decorated rooms where Japan's political future was once decided. Built in the early 1600s, Nijo Castle served as the residence of the Tokugawa Ieyasu, the first shogun of the Tokugawa shogunate. With the rain continuing to follow us, we made our way to another iconic site, Kinkakuji, the Golden Pavillion. Originally built in the late 1300s as a retirement villa for a shogun, Kinkakuji later became a Zen Buddhist temple. While the structure you see today is a reconstruction, the beauty and symbolism of the site remain just as powerful. Even under gray skies, the pavilion stood out immediately. Covered in gold leaf, it shimmered softly against the rain, reflecting onto the still pond below. Next is the Kyoto Imperial Palace, once the residence of Japan's emperors for 1,000 years. Even in the rain, the palace grounds felt calm and expansive. Wide gravel paths, carefully manicured gardens, and traditional architecture that quietly reflects Japan's imperial history. The Nikamon Gate, one of the most important ceremonial gates of the palace. This gate was traditionally used for formal imperial events, and standing here, you can almost imagine the processions that once passed through it. It felt less like sightseeing and more like stepping into a living piece of Kyoto's past. Beyond the gates, the gardens unfolded quietly around us. Carefully shaped trees and still ponds reflected the gray sky above. On a rainy day like this, the gardens felt alive and timeless. Next, we made our way to Nara, toward Kasuga Grand Shrine. But before we even got close, we were greeted by some very polite locals, the deer. Naturally, we bought some deer crackers just to keep them satisfied. Walking through the forested paths that led to one of Nara's most sacred sites. The Kasuga Grand Shrine was founded in the 8th century and has been a central place of worship for the city of Nara ever since. It's famous not only for its hundreds of stone and bronze lanterns, but also for its deep connection to the Fujiwara clan, one of Japan's most powerful families in ancient times. The shrine's architecture, its sacred forest, and its lantern-lit paths reflect centuries of tradition, making it feel like a living piece of history as you walk through it today. The deer in Nara aren't just cute or polite, they're actually considered sacred messengers of the gods. According to Shinto belief, the deity enshrined at Kasuga Taisha arrived in Nara riding a white deer. And since then, the deer have been protected and revered for over 1,000 years. That's why you see them roaming freely through parks, temples, and streets. Here, they're not wild animals. They're part of the city's spiritual identity. Even today, harming a deer is taken very seriously, and visitors are expected to treat them with respect. So, when a deer bows before asking for a snack, it's not just adorable, it's a small reminder of the deep connection between nature, tradition, and belief that defines Nara. Next, we made our way to the Todai-ji Temple, one of the most famous and historically important temples in all of Japan.
3,000 wood blocks, and each weighs 6 tons. Wow. Made from wood. Yeah, that's right.
Built in the 8th century, Todai-ji is best known for housing the Great Buddha, a massive bronze statue that has been watching over Nara for centuries. As we approached, the scale of the temple really started to sink in. The main hall is one of the largest wooden structures in the world, and standing in front of it makes you feel incredibly small. The Great Buddha, standing nearly 50 feet tall, is one of the largest bronze Buddha statues in the world. It represents enlightenment, wisdom, and universal compassion. Even after seeing photos, nothing really prepares you for the scale. The moment you step inside, it completely dominates the space. Even with the crowds, there's something powerful and humbling about this place, like you're standing face to face with history. And even after all that history, we weren't quite ready to leave Nara just yet. On the way back, we found ourselves doing one last round of deer hunting, because we just couldn't get enough of them. The polite bows, the curious stares, and the way they politely demand snacks like they own the place. It never gets old. With empty cracker packets and full hearts, we finally made our way back to Kyoto, ending the day smiling, slightly exhausted, and more than ready for dinner. So we made our way to try Gyukatsu Kyoto Katsugyu. This isn't your typical fried cutlet. The beef is slightly breaded, fried just enough to stay rare inside, and served with a hot stone so you can cook each bite exactly how you like it.
Another one marked off your checklist, baby.
Yep. Gyukatsu. Beef Gyukatsu. Just melts in your mouth. You don't have to even chew it. You don't have to chew it. Just melts in your mouth.
Between dipping sauces, perfectly cooked rice, and that crispy on the outside, melt in your mouth beef, this was hands down the perfect way to end the day. We got tired legs but full stomachs and absolutely no regrets.
Good morning. Ohio.
The next morning, we made our way to the Arashiyama bamboo forest, one of Kyoto's most iconic spots. Tall bamboo stalks towered above us, creating that calm, almost unreal atmosphere you always see in photos. And of course, we did what everyone does here. We posed for photos. Lots of photos. We tried to look serene, thoughtful, and totally unbothered while carefully waiting our turn and dodging other tourists doing the exact same thing. And it's just all part of the experience.
Strawberry matcha. Anything else? That is it. There you go. Strawberry matcha.
After the bamboo forest, there's one more forest we had to see, and that's the Kimono Forest. Instead of towering bamboo, we were surrounded by pillars wrapped in colorful kimono textiles. Each one features a different traditional pattern, and together they feel like walking through a living art installation. Wandering through the patterns and just soaking in how beautiful tradition and creativity come together here.
Matcha.
After wandering through Arashiyama, we headed back into the Kyoto streets to soak up some more of that Kyoto vibe. Persimmon smoothie? Of course, we had to try it. I mean, when else do you casually see persimmon in a smoothie form?
Persimmon smoothie. Japanese persimmon smoothie.
After wandering the streets, we were craving something different, and ramen was the answer. We stumbled upon the spot, and before I had time to process where we were, the menu literally flew into my hand. Now, I don't know if that's excellent service, perfect timing, or some kind of Kyoto street magic, but I took it as a sign.
Fried tofu.
This was Ichiren, not to be mistaken with Ichiran.
Fried tofu.
The ramen broth is based with soy milk and the fresh flavor of Japanese yuzu citrus. Sometimes the best meals are the ones you don't plan at all, and this one hit exactly when we needed it. And then this happened. An apple custard pie sitting there, looking way too good to ignore. Crispy on the outside, warm and creamy on the inside, basically impossible to walk past.
Let me see.
I'm trying to get the custard.
Still a lot of people. people at this time.
Well, remember Kiyomizu-dera from the other day that we said we were going to come back to? After stuffing our faces, we walked back up to Kiyomizu Road, and back here we came. We had only stopped by here briefly the other day, just enough to get a glimpse and feel the energy of the place. Coming back now felt different. We're not rushing. We slowed down, wandered the grounds, and really took everything in. The wooden halls, the sweeping views over Kyoto, and the calm that settles in once you stop trying to see everything all at once. Sometimes a place deserves a second visit, and Kiyomizu-dera was definitely one of them. Kiyomizu-dera is best known for its massive wooden hall. Built entirely without a single nail over the hillside. This iconic temple has a history that dates back over 1,200 years, founded in the late 8th century. The name Kiyomizu means pure water, named after the Otowa Waterfall below the main hall.
Gonna ruin your shoes.
Below the main hall is Otowa Waterfall, where Kiyomizu-dera gets his name. The waterfall splits into 3 streams, and visitors line up to drink from them using long-handled cups. Visitors have been coming here for centuries to drink from its streams. Each stream is said to bring a different blessing. Longevity, success in studies, or good fortune in love. Of course, you're supposed to choose just one, but I think we all know how tempting it is to want them all. After taking it all in at Kiyomizu-dera, we made our way down the Sanenzaka slope. It was slow and crowded, but we had one goal in mind: Maccha House. And there they are, the Uji Matcha Tiramisu and the Matcha Parfait, both made with premium matcha from Uji. The tiramisu was perfectly balanced, deep, earthy matcha flavor with just enough sweetness and creaminess to keep it smooth and rich without being overpowering. And then, Steph decided to take things to the next level by feeding me the tiramisu like a baby. Spoon by spoon, in public, surrounded by people, with no shame. But I wasn't even mad. When the matcha is that good, you just accept your fate.
Halo, halo.
That's the house matcha parfait.
Halo, halo.
It's got mochi. I want that mochi.
The parfait, on the other hand, was a whole experience. Layers of matcha ice cream, jelly, cream, and crunchy bits that just kept going.
It's like halo, halo. But with matcha.
Japanese style halo halo.
Japanese style halo-halo.
The parfait reminded me of one of my favorite Filipino desserts, which is halo halo. It is the same idea of layered textures and flavors that you mix together to create a cold, creamy, chewy, and refreshing dessert all at once. Our next stop, the iconic Yasaka Pagoda. Standing tall in the heart of Kyoto's historic streets, this 5-story pagoda feels like something straight out of a postcard. Originally built over 1,000 years ago, it's one of the city's most recognizable landmarks and a symbol of Kyoto's deep Buddhist roots. With traditional wooden houses lining the street and the pagoda rising perfectly in the background, it's impossible not to stop for photos. Crowded? Yes. Worth it? Also a yes. This spot perfectly captures the timeless Kyoto charm. As the day slowly came to an end, we took the bus and got off at Kyoto Station to head back to our hotel for the night. The next morning, we took the train and we finally made it to Fushimi Inari Taisha, famous for its thousands of bright red torii gates winding up the mountain. But we definitely weren't alone. The entrance was packed, people everywhere, cameras out, trying to get the perfect shot while navigating the sea of tourists.
Look at the crowd, man.
This shrine is one of Kyoto's most spiritually significant places. Dedicated to Inari, the Shinto god of rice, prosperity, and success. And these fox statues represent Inari's messengers. Each one of these bright vermilion torii gates was donated by individuals or businesses as a prayer or a thank you for good fortune. And if you look closely, every single one of them is covered in text. The writing you see is the name of the individual or company that donated the gate, along with the date it was given. In Shinto belief, torii gates mark the boundary between the ordinary world and the sacred, each one symbolizing a passage into a space where the human and spiritual worlds meet. This place was so magical, I was able to make people walk backwards as I was passing them. But all jokes aside, walking through them feels symbolic, step by step, moving deeper into the shrine, surrounded by thousands of wishes, hopes, and thanks from generations before us. It's crowded, loud at times, and yet somehow still feels deeply meaningful. Even with the crowds, once you get deeper into the trail, the gates stretch endlessly ahead, creating this iconic tunnel that makes Fushimi Inari unlike anywhere else in Japan. With every step, the city slowly fades away, replaced by forest paths, stone fox statues, Inari's messengers, and a calm rhythm that makes you forget how busy Kyoto can be. It's one of those places that feels just as powerful to experience as it looks in photos.
Yeah, baby.
Oh,
Yeah, baby.
By the time we turned back, it felt like we had walked through something more than a shrine. Fushimi Inari was a reminder that travel isn't always about the destination. It's about slowing down, staying present, and appreciating the path that leads you there. After making our way back down through Fushimi Inari and heading toward the exit, Steph's eyes locked onto something immediately: the 10 yen cheese pan. Because after all that walking, spiritual reflection, and torii gates, food was obviously next on the itinerary. Golden, crispy on the outside, and filled with molten cheese on the inside, it was impossible to walk past. One pull, and the cheese stretch alone was enough to convince us this was the right decision. And of course, for me, it had to be Kobe beef on a stick. Because when Japan offers you world-famous beef served street food style, you don't ask questions, you just say yes.
Thank you.
thank you. Kobe beef.
Thank you.
Perfectly grilled, insanely tender, and gone way too fast. One bite in, and I understood the hype. Expensive? A little. Worth it? Absolutely. Consider this as my official reward for surviving crowds, shrine steps, and a full day of walking. After refueling with street food outside Fushimi Inari, we hopped on a train and made our way to Nishiki Market, one of Kyoto's most famous food streets. Known as Kyoto's Kitchen, this narrow, lively market has been feeding the city for centuries. And after everything we've eaten already, we somehow still had room. Because let's be honest, when there's more food involved, you don't skip Nishiki. The shrimp tempura, sizzling right in front of us, was calling out loudly. And a wagyu burger that had absolutely no business smelling that good. We tried to resist, we really did, but between the crispy batter, the juicy beef, and the fact that we were already in too deep food-wise, we gave in.
Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou.
Again, some places don't let you walk past hungry, and Nishiki Market is definitely one of them.
Shrimp tempura.
What do you have?
A5 Kobe wagyu burger. With,
You're so spoiled. A lot of A5s this trip.
With yakiniku sauce.
And is it better than the Kyoto Bistro?
Definitely.
Seasoned?
Nothing like wagyu beef.
Sake.
Sake to me, Kyoto.
squid leg. That one there. 11.80.
Here at Nishiki, you're not just eating here, you're watching, listening, and reacting. Vendors proudly show off their specialties, samples are offered, and somehow you end up eating things you didn't even know you wanted. Nishiki isn't just a market. It's a full sensory experience, and we were happily caught right in the middle of it.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
And just when we thought we'd seen it all, we spotted Yakult beer. Yes, that Yakult, mixed with beer. Curiosity immediately took over, so of course, we had to have one.
It's creamy.
It's creamy.
Okay, it's in there.
Creamy, slightly sweet, a little tangy, and somehow it worked.
Sit down with some
Was it
Yakult beer.
refreshing? Yeah. Was it
Yeah.
confusing? Yeah. But that's half the fun of food hopping in Japan. If it exists, we're trying it.
The fried gyoza, and she said that the sauce is inside.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what she said. Let me. Oh. Wash it down with some Yakult beer. Yeah. Fresh grilled rice crackers.
By the time we reached the end of Nishiki Market, we had officially lost all sense of hunger and self-control. What started as a casual stroll turned into shrimp tempura, wagyu burgers, Yakult beer, and a series of food decisions we absolutely stand by. Like these brown sugar-covered mochi balls.
可以将购买的食物在购买的店铺前或里享用，请继续享受在此时。
Great. Arigatou gozaimasu.
The crowds were thick, the smells were impossible to resist, and every stall felt like it was personally calling our names. At some point, we stopped pretending we were sightseeing and fully accepted that this had become a food tour. So with hands full, stomachs fuller, and no regrets, we finally made our way out of Nishiki, already talking about what we're going to eat next.
Pontocho Alley.
After the sensory overload of Nishiki Market, we made our way to Pontocho Alley. This narrow alley runs along the Kamogawa River and feels quieter, moodier, and a lot more intimate. lined with traditional wooden buildings, softly glowing lanterns, and tucked-away restaurants. Pontocho feels like one of those places you stumble into and immediately slow down. From Pontocho Alley, we crossed over the Kamogawa River. People were scattered along the riverbanks, sitting, talking, just enjoying the night, while we slowed our pace and took it all in. After a day packed with crowds, food, and non-stop exploring, this moment felt like Kyoto exhaling with us. After crossing the Kamogawa River, we made our way into Gion, Kyoto's most famous geisha district. The streets here feel timeless. Wooden Maccha houses, narrow lanes, and soft lantern light give everything this quiet, cinematic glow. Even at night, Gion carries a sense of tradition and mystery. We walk slowly, keeping our eyes open, half hoping for a glimpse of a geiko or a maiko slipping between appointments. But tonight, no luck. Whether we saw one or not, just being here felt special, like stepping into a living piece of Kyoto's history. As we explored Gion, we passed by Gion Corner, a cultural venue dedicated to the preservation of traditional Japanese performing arts. It's a place where visitors can experience multiple art forms in one setting. Things like tea ceremony, flower arranging, traditional dance, and even Kyogen comedy. Even just walking past it, you can feel how important places like this are in keeping Kyoto's traditions alive. Gion isn't just about the atmosphere or spotting geiko and maiko, it's also about the craftsmanship, discipline, and art that have been passed down for generations. And just like that, it was our last day in Kyoto. With a few hours to spare before heading to Osaka, we decided to kill some time exploring Kyoto Station one last time while we waited to board our train. And honestly, you can't go wrong with just sitting down and winding things down the Japanese way. Egg salad sandwiches, onigiri, and a few local drinks from 7-Eleven. Kyoto Station felt like the perfect place to reflect on everything we'd experienced here.
It's the Kyoto Sky Garden, the very top of Kyoto Station.
There is Skyview Garden at Kyoto Station, tucked away above all the crowds and train platforms. It felt like a quiet pause in the middle of the city. From up here, you can see the city stretch out in every direction. After days of temples, shrines, and historic streets, this view felt like a gentle reminder of how Kyoto blends the old and the new so effortlessly. The station itself is massive. Part transportation hub, part shopping center, part architectural statement. Steel beams, glass ceilings, long escalators, and endless walkways stretch in every direction.
Maiko. Torii.
lakad sa taas.
Times Square.
It's actually a stair.
Yeah, that would make me dizzy.
From above, you can look down and watch the city move. Travelers rushing, families waiting, commuters heading home. It's modern, busy, and completely different from the temples and quiet streets we've been exploring all week. Kyoto Station feels like a bridge between old and new Japan. Standing here on our last day, it felt fitting. One final contrast before we said goodbye to Kyoto and headed on to Osaka. And we're hoping that you join us there as the final destination of our Japan adventure.
Might fall.